Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, and welcome to the Real Prosperity Project. My name is Tanisha Tearing, and this is
Charlene Reedman. Hello, everybody. So excited to be back.
Woo! We are on episode number 5. We are so excited to be here with you and going through this journey. So, our podcast is about prosperity in all areas of life and how it encompasses more than just financial success. It includes emotional, physical, and social and spiritual well-being. And this is just about our journey of overcoming challenges, lessons learned, moments of triumph. And we're excited to share this journey with you because, it helps cultivate an attitude for belief to foster abundance and growth through your daily life. And it helps develop a mindset of prosperity that not only benefits you, but it also inspires those around you. So that's why we're here. And welcome for our 5th episode.
Yeah, this is exciting. I can't believe we're on number 5. It's just like bang, zoom. we're just kicking this off, and I'm just really excited. Um, you know, again, we're in two different locations. I'm in northern BC, and Tanisha's in. Well, I guess you're still in northern BC, but we're about 6 hours away from each other. Oh, probably even longer than that now that it's
Yeah.
winter time. But yeah, we wanted to do this podcast because it's really making us step up our game by doing this podcast, and we're just excited to share, like Tanisha said, our journey of, well, I wish it was all up or like a straight line up, but it never is.
No, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah. The life of a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. But today, we want to talk about, entrepreneurship and what that looks like and what kind of holds people back from taking that step. One thing about being an employee, you're trading time for money, and
Hmm.
you're capped out, right? You hit that ceiling, that income ceiling. You hit the promotion ceiling. So what can we do, or how can we look at, going out and venturing? Now, it's not easy work to become entrepreneurial, but it can happen, and you can be very, very successful in that, in even in today's economy. So you got to look at, hey, I want to create my own economy, and how can I do that?
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. And that is, we need employees. Employees are the most underrated, underappreciated person, and that's part of the problem is they're underappreciated and they have the least control of their time and the least control of their money. And a lot of the time, that leads us into wanting to become self-employed, which is entrepreneurship, right? Um, but that has concerns for people. It can be a scary leap to go from having that consistent income hourly to not knowing what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and being underappreciated is actually one of the top reasons why people do leave their jobs. It's not
Hmm.
even the money,
No.
right? You could actually be making a good income, but if you're not getting appreciated for the time you're putting in or the work you've done, a lot of people are like, nope, this isn't for me. I'm going to go somewhere where I'm hopefully going to be appreciated and acknowledged for the work I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like I come from a healthcare background, and working in healthcare is one of the most difficult mentally and emotionally things that I have ever gone through. There's a lot of trauma that happens for those workers in those hospitals. They see a lot, you know, and we were very underappreciated by our higher ups,
Oh,
for
I can
sure.
only imagine. Yeah. Yeah, and shout out to the people that are working in that industry. That is not an easy task or job or anything, but we appreciate you 100%.
Yeah. We do appreciate you. And teachers, man, I tell you, this is funny. Just the other weekend, I needed to sit down and catch up with some homework with my youngest, just because we were away for a week. And I tell you, the frustration level of trying to teach that child how to read and do math, teachers are superheroes.
Right? Uh, yeah, 100%. 100%. But yeah, so today we want to take a look at, the five concerns in actually starting your own business and just kind of deep dive into each one of those. Hey, Tanisha?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely was aware of some of them, but not all of them, and some things I didn't even think of. So that's what we're going to share with you guys today is just, some things to think about and maybe, some ways to look around those concerns.
Yeah. And this is probably, out of the five concerns, this is what's holding people back from taking that leap of faith into their own adventure. And, the first one being an investment. So if you're looking at starting something that's brick and mortar, there's going to be an investment attached to that. And that can be a lot of capital that maybe people haven't saved up for. I think Tanisha has an example for us.
Yeah, so I actually looked it up, and an A&W now to start up is $1.5 million.
That's
That is to get
crazy.
the business. That's all your affiliation fees and all of that. And then on top of that, there's startup costs that are probably another $500,000 and 5% of a royalty fee of your net sales.
So basically, before you pay anything, 5% is coming off the top first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, 1.5 million for an AW now? Holy
Mhm.
smokes.
Yeah. It's a very large chunk of change. And so that is one of the biggest concerns, right? Is having that investment, that capital up front to purchase your business. Now, what's really great about having that capital and purchasing that business is you're not just purchasing a business, you're purchasing a system.
Right.
Right. And so that kind of deals with some of the other concerns that we'll get into. But that system really helps whoever is jumping into that A&W, as an example, um, because they're getting a system that's already pre-built for them.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, because you go
Mhm.
to any A&W, it's pretty much the same anywhere you go, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The menu's the same, platform's the same, the
How to
all
how to
the
build a
software
teen
is
burger.
probably the same. Yeah.
They're all like, "Oh, I'm gonna do a teen burger with a twist," right? Yeah. And the next
Yeah.
one is time. Quite often, when we're going to start a new business, we're actually still probably employed at our job. And then we go from working 8, 9 hours a day at our job, and then we go to run our business because we still need, at the very beginning, we need a cash flow. If we don't have that capital tucked away, right? So,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
That time commitment is just insane. I know when I personally thought about opening a restaurant, I was like, "Kate, I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna have the passion. I'm gonna have the drive, and I'm gonna want things a certain way." Which means that until I find someone that wants the same things as me to give me a little bit of a break, a reprieve, in order to be successful in that business, I'm gonna have to put in 16 hours a day because I'm going to be the only one there doing that stuff.
Well, and that's just it, Tanisha, because, if you
You know,
got people calling in sick, who do you think's going to fill that? You're going to be on call 24/7, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the next concern is the knowledge. So, running a business there's so much to it because it's not just, how to make that teen burger, but it's also like how to hire employees, how to fire employees, how to do bookkeeping, how to do government remittances, how to do payroll. There's so much, even back end office work that needs to be dealt with. And in the meantime, making sure you're training your staff to be efficient as possible.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's so true is people don't think about that. I know I was helping a client actually. They really, really, really want to be a business owner. They want to own their own restaurant. And I was just going through the list of things that I had just researched, um, trying to go into the restaurant industry prior as well, until I had found our amazing system in our own entrepreneurial journey. But I was like, don't forget this and don't forget that and don't forget to build your business plan. And they're like, oh my God, I don't know.
It's so
It
true.
can be
And like
overwhelming.
it is like my daughter, she has her own she has a supply store, so dog food, cat food, toys, all that kind of stuff. But also her husband is a contractor in the oil field industry. And yesterday I was helping her understand how payroll works for him. And she's like, I had no idea. Like again, like it's just, a simple to me it's simple because I have a bookkeeping background, but for her, she's like absolutely does not understand any of it, right? So there's
Yeah.
some knowledge, and luckily she has me to help her with that,
Hmm.
right?
And see, so that is part of the problem is seeking out that knowledge. Because yes, you can Google it. Yes, there's courses. Yes, you can go to business school. But, those are all things that are scary to people that are trying to jump into the entrepreneurial journey. Um, and so that's why it's such a big concern is like, where are you going to find that knowledge? And I know in the traditional industry of traditional industries, I should say, multiple, you don't want to train your competition. So then there's that, how am I going to get knowledge when so and so down the street doesn't want to train me how do they make soup,
Right,
you
right,
know?
yeah. Yeah, that is so true. Yeah, luckily for her, she's met other business owners in the same industry that are, so this is not a chain store. These are private owned mom and pop shops. And she's been very fortunate. The people she's reached out to have been willing to help her out.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Because that's
yeah.
not always the case, right?
No, totally not. Totally not. And then is there a need? Is there a need
Mm,
for what you want to go out and create? Um, you know, Kaylee took a big chance here because we do have two box store pet supply chains in our town, but she's hoping that because she is an independent owner that more people will support her than the box stores, right?
mm.
And even look at coffee shops. Oh my gosh, there can be like six coffee shops in town, but yet everybody seems to want to go to the Starbucks.
Yeah, that's so funny. Nobody wants to go and get, the classic coffee from the coffee shop and sit down and enjoy their time. They just want fast production, that mainstream thing, and that's the need, right? How many coffee shops do you need on one block?
Yeah. And that'd be like me opening a surfboard shop up here in northern BC where, we have limited lake access and a lot of snow season. So I mean the need for a surfboard shop up here would be, yeah, not too high.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how passionate you are, nobody needs a surfboard in the north.
Yeah, exactly.
On the inland north, nonetheless.
And that even, you know what, we've had even in our town, for an example, we've had snowboard ski shops, and we have one here in town that's been here for many, many, many years. And I've seen somebody else come in and start their own, and it's not here anymore.
Mhm.
Right. So that leads into, what's the risk of that happening? What's the risk if
Right.
the need isn't there?
Yeah. Well, and the risk in the traditional entrepreneurship when you're starting a business, especially a brick and mortar business, it's all sink or swim. It's a huge investment most times up front, and they've spent all that time, you know, they've spent time getting the knowledge that they need, right? And then if they weren't able to fill a need, then they're gone, and that's a huge risk.
Yeah. Yeah. So then you end up losing that initial investment. And, that can even put people into a bankruptcy
Hmm.
situation, right?
Yeah.
If you look at a lot of the restaurants across Canada, I mean, I see it all the time. This restaurant that's been around for 30, 40 years and they're closing their doors. Rent's increased. Food prices have increased.
Hmm.
I don't know. Wages have increased. I mean, I don't know what has not increased.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it's our wages.
Yeah, right.
The employee wages have not gone up. They really haven't. They have slightly. Like I remember when I first started, my very first job was 7.25 an hour, and now it's 18 whatever it is per hour here in BC. But so yeah, it has increased, but not at the same rate that the cost of living has increased. And so people are still living in complete poverty because their rent's $2,100 a month and that's their entire income.
Well, and that's just it. So now you're ending up working two, three jobs to even just pay your rent now, and that's just it's crazy. Like, and those are like you usually have a full time job and then two part time jobs, which are turned into another full time job,
Yeah.
right? So there's four ways to earn income, and it's a quadrant. So the first one, of course, is an employee, and just like Tanisha said, being an employee, there's nothing wrong with that, but we have the least control of our time and we pay the highest in taxes,
Hmm.
right? So that's when we're like, oh, hey, let's try something new. So we go into self employed, right? Well, I'll keep using my daughter for an example. So now she's committed to working at her store basically Monday to Saturday, and she's there for 8 hours each day. So she's committed to that as a self. And then if her employee calls in sick, she has to fill in that time as well, right? So basically, the good news, you're not going to get fired unless you fire yourself. But then going over to the other side of the quadrant, there's business owner, and that's where you are making an income without physically being at that business. So to use Tanisha's example of buying an A&W, I'm sure people are not buying an A&W because they love making burgers and fries. Just like Tanisha said, they're buying a system where they can train others to go in and make the burgers and fries. And once that's up and running, they really don't need to be inside of that business. And the money should just be coming into their bank account. And then from there, they can become true investors. And that can be in real estate, that could be, in whatever investments you're thinking of. Because as an employee, unfortunately, we're so emotionally attached to our money that, or there's just not enough left over. We aren't becoming those true investors that we would like to be. But the crazy thing is, 90% of the people are employee or self employed. But guess where the wealth is? 10%. 90% of the wealth is on the other side, the business and investor side. So why aren't they teaching this more in, grade 11, grade 12, how to get those entrepreneurial mindsets and then
Hmm.
start looking at different business models and instead of, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to bash the school systems, but they push everybody to go to university. So you have this big, massive influx taking, say, accounting. And now you have thousands of people coming out looking for an accounting position. How many accounting positions are available, for an example,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. Well, exactly. That's just it is the system is built for structure and for everybody to follow the system,
Yeah.
whether in school and then more school and then, be an employee. It's built for employees, is what it is. And like I said at the beginning, there's nothing wrong with employees. We need employees. Employees are the unsung heroes of our entire economy.
Yeah.
However, it also needs to be taught how to be an entrepreneur because yeah, there's those five main concerns, but there's some incredible business models out there. There's some incredible companies that help you to become independent brokers and become business owners in with and dealing with all of those five concerns, you know? And that was part of my journey is, I've been an entrepreneurial spirit my whole life. I've always, I bought bubble gum at Costco and I went to the farmer's market and I sold it. So I bought that bucket for back then probably $8 or something, but I sold each piece for 25 cents at this market. And you know what? I ended up making $20. And that was my entrepreneurial spirit when I was a kid. And we need to learn how to encourage that and how to teach that that's fine. Do it. If you see a need, fill the need. And there are ways to do that without having to break the bank, without having to spend 16 hours a day there.
Yeah, and another thing to consider too, when searching for a business or whatever it might be, is what's your market going to be for when you want to exit that business, to sell the business, etc. Because like my parents owned a business in far northern BC, and instead of there was no buyers, they
Mm.
ended up just liquidating, which turned out fine for them. But they were hitting their retirement years, and it was time to move on. But there was no market to actually for others to actually purchase that business.
Mhm. Yeah, that's actually very important. That Thank you. That'll help our listeners, something to think about. Um, and also interview your future. This
Oh,
is
that's a
something
good one.
that impacted me so deeply. I was, I can't remember what it was. I think it was when I started into my own business here that I have currently, that I've been in for 3 years. And someone said, interview your future in my personal development right at the beginning. And I went to the hospital. I was still working part-time at the hospital and starting this part-time. And I interviewed one of the nurses that was close to retirement. And I said, what do you love? How long have you been here? And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I started to look around and I was like, all these nurses are tired. They're getting cranky. They are, they just are worn down and they have no life left in them because it just gets sucked out of them because of that lack of appreciation,
Yeah.
right? And then I was starting my journey part-time here and I started to talk to people that had been here 17, 20, 25 years. They're all happy. They are living their best life. They've built passive income. And I was like, yeah, I clearly have a direct path. And that's what you need to do, no matter what your desire is. If you want to be an electrician, go interview electricians that have been there 60 or 20 plus years. If you want to be in the food industry, go interview someone that's been a business owner in the food industry for 20 plus years. And you will have an idea of exactly where you want to be by doing that. So interview your future.
And Tanisha mentioned something. I don't know if you guys caught that, but the word is passive income.
Mm,
What can you do to help create a passive income? So let's go back to A&W. Does that create a passive income for you? So, for an example, let's say for every teen burger you sold, aside from the sale of that teen burger, every time it's sold, you also got an extra bonus into your bank account for that, right? So, passive income is basically even looking at your investments. The rate of return earning on your investments is actually a passive income, right? Because it's
mhm.
growing. So it's where can you earn a passive income again while you're sleeping,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, let's face it, money's not going away, so we better make it work for us,
exactly. And you can look
right?
at like um, you know, Elvis Presley or his state is still earning money from the royalties of the work he did, even though he's no longer with us.
Yeah.
So legacy building, building a legacy for yourself and your family.
Oh, yeah, that's incredible. That's something I hadn't thought of. I hope you all take that away is build a legacy. Build something so big that you can build that legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
think that's really cool. But yeah, there's tons of opportunities. There's tons of if you're online, and thank you for listening to us, but you know, people that you can tune into, I think would be like Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, um, help me out here, Tanisha, I just drew a blank.
Mel Robbins
Stephen Holbrook. Um,
or
there's just so many people. They've been there, they've done it, they've gone to the trials and tribulations. And
Mhm.
the cool thing is, they are openly sharing with the rest of us how to do it even faster, how to
Yeah.
create, that entrepreneurship mindset, how to create an income, and again, even building that legacy for your family.
Yeah. Well, and Charlene, you talk about all of these people online that our listeners could listen to, but really they could reach out to you or me too. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's Charlene has been building her business for 8 years now,
Yeah.
and I've been building mine for three, and so whether or not our same direction as for you, we have some ideas of how to deal with those concerns, and so you could reach out to Charlene or I, and we can help you. We can, we'd love to sit down and give you some tips and some things in your field, whatever that is, and help you get through to the direction that you want to go in your entrepreneurial journey. So don't be shy. Reach out to us. You can comment on any of our podcasts or find us on social media. This is on YouTube and Spotify. And we're both on Facebook and Instagram. So you can reach out anytime and just ask us questions too. Some of our listeners are close friends and family. So, don't be shy. We're here for you too.
Exactly. And yeah, and then next week, we're, like Tanisha's saying, we're bringing on a fellow that has been an entrepreneur in many different types of businesses for basically his whole adult life. And so that's going to be really interesting to hear it from him, the differences between what he's done and then what he's doing now.
Oh, I'm so excited. Charlene let the cat out of the bag. We are having our first guest speaker on our podcast next week. And yeah, we're super excited to chat with him and share his journey with all of you because, like Charlene just said, he's been in many different businesses and he has a lot of outlook on that. And I can't wait. I'm so excited for our listeners. They get to have some sneak peek into some different industries.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't really prepare any tip of the day today, but I think what I would recommend is, if you have that, I want to be self-employed, or be entrepreneurial or own a business, is start looking and writing down and making comparisons. Um, that would be most beneficial for you. And a call to action is, yeah, totally reach out to us, and we'd love to help you on your journey.
Yeah, we've gone through a lot of trials over our time, so maybe we can help you to avoid them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, again, thank you so much for joining us and listening to us this week. This was our fifth episode. This is on the entrepreneurial journey, and we look forward to you listening next week, and support us by subscribing or following, please. And yeah,
Yeah,
reach out.
share it with your friends. And yeah, we're just like I say, we're just so pumped to be doing this. It's crazy, um, how much has evolved even from the last 5 years, of how we can reach other people, connect with other people now. We don't have to send out snail mail letters anymore.
Yeah, it's so true. So yeah, share with everyone, guys. It may not be for you, but somebody you share it with, it might impact their lives greatly. So,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, enjoy
Right.
your Thursday and can't wait to chit chat with you all next Thursday with our guest speaker. Have a wonderful, blessed day. And if you're up in the north in the snow, drive safe. If you're lucky to be down in the south, maybe have some rain, but stay warm. And thank you.
Awesome. Bye, guys.